Oh Polly, love, oh Polly, the rout has now begun, and we must go a-marching to the beating of the drum. Go dress yourself all in your best and come along with me. I'll take you to the war, my love, in high Germany.
The BBC said you're the finest interpreter of traditional folk song in the British Isles. Can you explain a bit how you find traditional songs? What's the process of the whole thing?
I just do songs I fancy. You know, I must have another dozen sort of sitting there waiting to be jumped on. You actually have to find your way into a song. Each song is like a building, and you walk around and around and around it until you find the door, and you open the door and you walk in, and you just look around. How much do I like it in here? And if you like it, then, which I do most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, there are one or two I've walked in the door and thought, I don't want to be here. Well, there's one in particular, one called Fanny Blair, which is about a child molester. Well, it's about somebody who says that who is accused of child molestation and says it wasn't me, Gov, she's lying. And he says all the things that child molesters say, basically. And I just people the singers will argue about it. Say no, it's what's happened to him is unfair and she's lying. And I've sung it a couple of times, and both times I've felt so uncomfortable. Sometimes I find myself being a bit of a faint heart. I've never actually found my way into the particular melody. It's a fabulous melody, but I love to be able to play something, and I can't play it satisfactorily. You know, if I can figure out a way of playing it satisfactorily, maybe I'll actually do it. I don't think of myself as an actor. I fancied I was going to be an actor. I left school and went into theatre, and I found I was shite. But watch people doing this, and these people who do this they're skillful as hell. You know, and they can do the most amazing things and then walk off the stage and leave it behind. Yeah. The capacity to think yourself into a role is something I've never got anywhere near. There are those on the folk scene who believe that you should be. You should prepare in exactly the way an actor prepares, and I don't happen to agree with that. I think you're the conduit, and it's a fantastic position to be in. But you are a storyteller.
Okay. So you're not actually the character in the song. You're the storyteller. You're the messenger bringing the story.
Yeah. You're the conduit. That's all it is.
Yeah. I thought the Hamlet one was fantastic. That's brilliant.
That is brilliant. And that learning that is just learning it parrot fashion.
So when you say like you've got 12 songs that you want to explore and look at, where do you get them from? Is it collections? Is it Session
They're in collections. You can get them in Session Sharp House. I mean, these days there's so many of the books have been published, so you can get. I've got them. I've got a lot of the books. I've had the English, Scottish popular ballads, Francis James Child, since the 60s. When you could buy the whole. An American company called Dover reprinted them. I think the whole set cost £5, or were they £5 each? I can't remember. I think the whole set was £5. The Journals of the Folk Song Society from 1898 through to 1931. It's gold. It's gold.
Can you do anything you want with anything as long as it's in the public domain?
Well, you can. Well, the one thing you can't. There's only one thing you can't do with traditional song, I think, and that's copyright it. If you copyright it, you bring the whole thing to an end. You see, the fact that it was not copyrighted before was that people didn't know that you could do that, because it belongs to everybody. One person copyrights it, like the person who copyrighted "Happy Birthday to You." You know, I don't believe that person wrote that song. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. But somebody was a real clever dick, and I believe, and copyrighted it.
This is probably not the right time, but isn't that what Paul Simon did to you with Scarborough Fair?
Not at all. Not at all. He didn't do that. It was put that he had written it, and he never made a penny out of it. He never made he never got a single payment because someone else stole it. and nothing to do with him.
Obviously Zeppelin, it's just thorny issue about what they were doing, and
well, he took it from David. He took it from David and took it from Bert, and that's it's naughty. It's naughty. There's people like Davey and Bert did a lot of work on things like that. Bob Dylan actually got my name on the back of a record because he insisted that they put my name on that record. Great brownie points for me. Lovely. Very nice thing to do. He's an honourable bloke. And Paul was as honourable. But nobody took a blind bit of notice. The trouble is that people like that, especially Bob Dylan knows more about traditional song than most people on the folk scene. And when he did a couple of records of traditional songs, when he did that for the first one, he sort of handed it to all the suits, and the suits said copyright Bob Dylan. And there was great furore, and Folk Roots was going on about it. Bloody silly! They know that they should know that he wouldn't do a thing like that, and it's the suits.
Sounds like you're quite anti the industry element.
The thing is, I watched it happen to my daughter, and I've nothing but contempt for some of those people. The personnel in those big record companies change all the time. By the time Liza came to make her second album for Warner's, and she'd sent them some demos, and they tried very hard to keep them. And she said, "Fuck, that's my stuff. I'm just sending. I didn't give them to you. I sent this to say what I was doing." But the thing that really made me realise how stupid these people are, one of them said, "Oh, well, what are we going to do with this Eliza McCartney?" They're bullies as well. They decided they like to push the musicians around. They say, "Oh, that fucking bass player. We'll get a proper bass player in to do his parts again." So they got that guy Leland Sklar. He's a top session man. He can play anything. And he heard Barnes Stradling's parts, and he went, "What the fucking wrong with it? There's nothing." And he said, "Okay, I'll do them again." And he did his parts exactly, did them note for note. Note for note. Did his parts. The guy said, that's so much better." So I have very little time for a lot of those people. He was a mate of mine who was boss of Warner's, and he's the person who discovered Amy Winehouse. Okay. And I said, "What about her?" And he said, "She's the real deal." And he's a music lover. There's a few of them are music lovers, but the middle-ranking people are a bunch of tin-eared idiots, awful people.
Do you get your rights back for your early albums? Have you got those?
This guy produced 4 albums for me, and he gave me the albums. His wife said to him, "How come you own those albums? Why don't you just give them to him?" He said, "I never thought of it." So he just sent me a piece of paper saying, "Right, these albums are yours now. Sign that piece of paper, send it back." I sent it back to him, and he just gave them to me, which is very, there are honourable people there. There are so many idiots. He's called Max Hole, and he's one of the good guys. Fabulous bloke. When I first was signed to Fontana I did 6 albums for them. When I went in to Donald Baverstock, who was the boss of Philips Fontana, about the first album, he said, "I want you to record this. There, that's a folk song." And he put this thing on, and he said, "There are." So that's a folk song. He said, "No, it's not." He said, "Yes, it is." I said, "No, it's not." He said, "If I told you that you had to record that, or you wouldn't get the contract, what would you do?" I said, "I'd walk away." And he looked at me, and I could see this look on his face that said, "Who is this prick?" It wasn't such a big deal as I thought it was at the time. I only was pressured into doing a single once, and it was such a shitty song I didn't do it. But the Spinners did. So it was for that Michael Caine film, Funeral in Berlin, and there was a song which my publisher said I ought to record, and I listened to it. I said, "I don't want to sing that," and the Spinners did it. Because I was never interested in doing anything but traditional song. It's what I love. And I was just finding out about it then. So it's one of the reasons why I'm still doing it. Because you just keep finding out more and more and more about it. It's amazing stuff.
Oh Polly, love, oh Polly, the rout has now begun, and we must go a-marching to the beating of the drum. Go dress yourself all in your best and come along with me. I'll take you to the war, my love, in high Germany.